Hello everyone, and welcome to Quantum Universum. Today, we will explore the first text you can use with the intention of protection. For those who missed the video where I explain the technique to shift attention from the brain to the heart, I'll leave the link below in the description. Use this technique when reciting this text to gain greater benefits and practice tuning into the heart. But before we start, make sure to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications so you don't miss upcoming videos on personal growth and spiritual well-being. The text I present to you today is an excerpt from the Refuge prayer from the Tibetan tradition. It is believed that the author is the great yogi Atisa Dipamkara Sriñana, but it is not certain whether he created it personally or simply played a fundamental role in spreading the teachings attributed to him. As a master of the Buddhist tradition, Atisa organized and distilled the essence of the Buddha's 84,000 teachings into a single fundamental text still used today. In his classic The Lamp for the Path to Enlightenment, Atisa describes the practices that comprise the Refuge prayer. In the Tibetan tradition, this prayer is known as Kayamdro and is intended as guidance for taking refuge in the three fundamental elements, or jewels, of Buddhism: the Buddha, the teachings of the Enlightened One who discovered the path; the Dharma, the eternal truth of reality; and the Sangha, the community of Buddhists, traditionally nuns, monks, and devotees. Buddhist texts refer to various types and degrees of refuge that we can seek throughout life. The term refuge primarily means protection from suffering, achieved by adopting a way of thinking and living that reflects the Buddha's teachings. This type of refuge takes the form of three objects or principles: the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, or Sangha. Principle 1. Refuge in the Buddha. The first refuge is in the path of the Buddha, or Buddhism itself. Taking refuge in the Buddha means committing to following the path of conscious thought and mindful action, which leads to a higher level of self-awareness and our relationship with the external world. This path requires a deep commitment to enlightenment, which, according to the Buddha's teachings, is achievable in life. Principle 2. Refuge in the Dharma. The second refuge is the Dharma. In the Buddhist context of the Refuge prayer, this refuge is found in the sacred texts, the Buddhist scriptures, that help to calm the emotions of restlessness and fear in the mind. By shifting attention from the chaotic material world to the harmony reflected in nature and the human body, we free ourselves from fear and suffering. Principle 3. Refuge in the Sangha. The third refuge is the Sangha. This refers to the community of bodhisattvas, beings who have reached a higher state of consciousness. These are compassionate individuals who, despite achieving enlightenment, choose to remain in the unenlightened earthly realm to alleviate the suffering of those who have not yet reached this state. Principle 4. Unlimited duration of the prayer. There is a fourth principle that completes this prayer. It is the final phrase, which specifies the duration of the refuge and protection sought by the person reciting the prayer. The duration is simply indicated with the words, "Until I attain enlightenment." In Mahayana Buddhism, the state of enlightenment is clearly described as the attainment of the bodhisattva state of consciousness. Literally, the conclusion of this text states that the refuge and protection will last until we attain enlightenment and become bodhisattvas. The promise that the four principles combined together is the source of the code's power. The translation of this ancient wisdom code reads as follows: "In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I take refuge until I attain enlightenment." In Sanskrit, the original language of the prayer, each fragment of the code begins with the word Namo, which means homage or reverence. Here is the original prayer: Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. The power of the text, like all the texts I will propose to you, comes from their repetition and the affirmative intent with which they are pronounced. In this way, the code is imprinted on the subconscious. When we create harmony between heart and brain, as we saw in the video where I explain the technique, we open a direct channel to communicate immediately with the subconscious. The advice is to recite the version that attracts you the most, either in Italian or in the original language. You can do it mentally or out loud until you feel your trust and certainty grow that you are not alone. The key is to welcome the code within you by focusing on awareness, breath, and heart sensations rather than the mind. As always, thank you for following me in this video, and if you liked it and would like to see more videos like this, let me know by liking and leaving a comment. See you soon in the next video.